Greetings and salutations, Earthlings. Welcome to another episode of the Sneaker History Podcast. Funny how both of you go to that. It would have been better if somebody like Ricky Bobbied it and was like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I mean, it's even better that it's like the 20th anniversary of the NERD album, so it just kind of like it all ties together.
Yeah,
it does.
Live long and prosper, sneakerheads.
I was going to bring that up later too, so we'll hold off on that. How you guys doing though? How's everybody feeling?
Solid, man. Just came back from a run, a little sore, but you know what? I'm good.
See, you're smart, Mike, because I was going to do my ride after this, and yeah, you look refreshed, and I look haggard, and it's clearly because you did the workout before, and I'll be doing the workout after.
You'll feel good, though, before bedtime.
Yeah, let's go with that. How about yourself, Robbie? How are you feeling?
I'm not quite at an ankle capability where I can like do stuff yet. So I do some abs on the ball, on the little workout ball, and work. So not too much today. Not a lot. I'm doing well though. We have a fun episode for everybody. Before we dive into that, I always forget to say this, but if you're watching this on YouTube, please just make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out tons of great content recently, and we'd like to see you guys tune in for more of it. We have a fun-filled episode today, kind of more on the news front. We're not going to have a particular one standout scene. We're talking about a movie, me trying to wink, a scene, couple scenes here. There's going to be some good, some bad, some ugly, but overall, it's a fun overall episode. Do we have any... Rohit, do we have any?
Yes, Greg Chill was the last review I saw, and if we have used it, I'm apologizing, but if we haven't, I'm just going to go ahead and reiterate it again. Nice. It's a 5-star review. This podcast is great. I've been listening for a while, not just hype about sneakers. It's a bunch of older sneakerheads, very basketball-oriented, not much on the streetwear site. Still, I love this podcast. It's nice to hear that people just love sneakers. We love sneakers, and we love 5-star reviews, so thank you, Greg Chill, for the humbling words of confidence.
And we're older.
That is...
I feel we're
Silver Fox.
That's great feedback because we do talk a lot about basketball. It is the sport with the most recognizable and easily viewable shoes. But I have seen in our Discord and other places a need and a thirst for maybe some other stuff like some training. We'll wait for Nick to come back. I'm not the biggest training expert. I've never cared about cross trainers. I do like me some like streetwear, sportswear, skateboarding shoes, aka dunks. I mean, there's a bigger variety of skateboarding shoes than that. But today we're trying to touch on some different things. But let's just get right into our rocking and copping, though. So, Mike, what have you been rocking? What you copping?
Oh, you know what I've been rocking. These bad boys right here have been rocking. I probably won't stop rocking them until I have to like wear normal shoes again. But no, dude, the Eric Emanuel question has been on foot since they've arrived. Just made a video about them, of course. Would I want to cop? If the old sneakers gods will let me tomorrow, I would love to cop just the Nike SB USA skateboarding jersey. That's all I want. I know it sounds like, oh, that's all you want, but no, that's it. I don't need anything else. I'm cool. I just want the shirt. The tracksuit would be dope, but the shirt, I will be very happy with that.
Excellent. Now, I was rocking the Nike Free 0.0, aka the barefoot, because I didn't really leave the house today. But from a copping perspective, I actually went to the local skate shop here in Portland, Tactics, because I know they were all supposed to get the kits that Mike had previously mentioned yesterday. Sadly, they don't have it because everything is running short, and probably on a story we'll touch on later. So what I will say is I, too, will be asking the sneaker gods to bless me with a tiny bit of karma, but this will be more for the July 20th release of the South Beach 8s because I think that's going to be a hot-button shoe for a lot of us. And I think the kits hopefully will be easier to get. So if I have to pick one, it's a real Rosemary's Baby situation. I'll go over the South Beach 8s than the kits. Robbie, how about you?
I don't care about jerseys or kits, if you will. So not really on my radar for that. I wore the Bruce Cheese. Trying to get this paperclip off my finger. I can't get my paperclip off. There we go. Yeah, the Bruce Cheese, some nice American cheddar, yellow American.
Sharp cheddar.
Very, very sharp.
No, this is definitely yellow American, like McDonald's string. cheese.
That's not real cheese at McDonald's, bro.
No, definitely not. But yeah, the Bruce Leroy's. I tried to see how my ankle's doing and rode around the neighborhood, and I would see how my ankle's doing. Not too good, so maybe next time. When it comes to copping, though, nothing particularly on my radar that's coming out soon. I saw an 84 Forum High in Lakers colors that are really muted purple and really muted yellow. So that's more of like a pure lifestyle wear, which I'm looking for as a Laker fan who also likes shoes. I have so many like loud Nike and Puma Laker color stuff where it's maybe a little toned down purple and gold would be good. So I'm definitely looking out for that Forum High. No release date on it yet, so can't speak much to it. But I actually just put 6 or 7 pairs aside to list on eBay in the next coming week or so. And out with the old. I realized, man, I've talked about how much I like the Kyrie 3. I got a couple Kyrie 3s my ass isn't going to wear anytime soon. And at this point, I have so many basketball shoes where it's like, yes, I love this design. Yes, I like the memory. Mm-hmm. Yes, I like the Hyperdunk. I think I have 13, 14, 15. I have like almost every fucking Hyperdunk sitting back there. And it's like, I have so many unworn basketball shoes. Am I going to wear a lightly worn one from 5-6 years ago right now? Probably not. So trying to offload stuff before I buy more stuff.
No, that's very noble of you. Is there anything that you would hopefully be saving your rainy day fund for? Or is it just something that's in case of emergency, break glass and get this paper?
No, it's not even about breaking glass and getting the paper. It's me. I feel, and maybe other people in the sneaker community feel this way too. I feel like overwhelmed sometimes when I look at how many fucking shoes are back there, and it's just like, I got 2 feet, and I wear the same ones, like the same 6, 7 shoes over and over again. So like, why do I need 200 plus when I wear like 7? A lot of those still will never go, but 7 in particular got put to the side today, and I was like, I like all these. They've made it through the past couple cuts. But every couple months, I like to go back there and see if I've even touched the box. Like, there's a pair of Air Max 90 HTM Flyknits back there. I've literally worn to a wedding one time in like 2017. Oh. And like every time I'm about to sell them, I'm like, man, I'm not going to sell these. I like them. But I haven't even touched the box in like years. So
that's the tricky part, man.
Now, I was going to say this. If there are any shoes that you feel a bit more charitable about, I know that there's a shoe charity that kicks off every year right before the school starts in Portland. It's called Jeff Shoe Challenge. Mm-hmm. I think the Instagram handle is Jeff Shoe Challenge. So if you're feeling that next level of charitable, Robbie, maybe a donated pair would go a long way. But
I typically do. Those are 7 I'm selling. There's definitely more in there that are just getting given away. So
okay, perfect.
100%. But my preferred method of selling is typically eBay. It's easy. This is not an ad for eBay. They are not paying me for this at all. Straight up. But it is easy as hell to use. I mean, it's a mental wall. You know, if it's over $100, you don't pay any fees. But at the same time, not everything's worth $100. And it's funny seeing the amount of like bullshit shoes now on eBay that are like priced at exactly $100 to avoid paying the fees. So I find that very comical, but they have a new partnership, so I'll let somebody else pick it up from there. But this is not a shade on eBay. I like using that service, but they're doing some new stuff.
Yeah, I've got the article up, so I'll go ahead and read it. I still don't know what the hell that eBay.
I don't either. I've read it 3 times now, and I have no idea what it's about.
Maybe we do the elementary school thing where one of us reads it out loud, and then we can all discuss what we think it means. So I'll go ahead and get started. Something which was seen during a huge rise during the pandemic is the digital sneaker business, and eBay has been hard at work to bring their trusted authentication services to the game. For years, the platform has been a staple in grail hunting, boasting the largest selection of styles offered on the internet. And now, eBay has successfully launched an expansion of an aftermarket for pairs that are more common. eBay works with SneakerCon to verify the authenticity of eligible shoes, guaranteeing that the buyer is getting the real deal. Another perk for sellers and buyers who have powered eBay for years is there are no longer seller or buyer fees for sneakers over $100 on the platform. Here at Nice Kicks, we're proud to announce an exclusive partnership with eBay to help sneakerheads secure the pairs they want without the concern of getting a fake. The sneaker game has changed rapidly, and the peace of mind that comes with purchasing from a trusted source is hard to match. Be sure to look for pairs that are waiting on your wait list on eBay, and don't miss a release as we keep you informed on all the latest. That is a press release from Nice Kicks, so I ask you both, What are we getting here?
It said absolutely nothing. It said what Robbie literally just told us about eBay, which cool, they've been doing that for a minute. And Nice Kicks is like, hey, we're here too, guys. And that's no knock to Nice Kicks. I just don't understand what they're doing. I just want to know what their role is.
Just give me the light.
And pass the draw.
Nothing else more than that, but it's like for some reason they just give me something more. Give me some insight. Maybe not the light, but some insight. I don't get it either. Rohit, in there you said something about like more obtainable or not.
eBay has successfully launched an expansion of an aftermarket for pairs that are more common. So what that says to me, and granted this is just one person's interpretation of that, is the fact that the GS pairs that we would see still at a retail environment, they're on eBay, and I guess as long as they're not under $100, we're not paying an additional fee to it. But then at the same time, I don't think GS pairs would be the ones that we would fight for in terms of, okay, making sure we get a good price on it and also making sure it's an authentic pair. Because in my mind, just a general release would make sure that it's a shoe that's not hyped enough that you can go after it, and you don't really need to worry about it being authenticated in the sense because there isn't that much demand for it. Could I be wrong in that, or am I missing something when it comes to general releases?
No, I'm right there with you. Like, it seems like it's kind of a null point to do that. It's like, all right, if it's a GS, I can just go. For the sake of what today is, everyone's talking about the 270 being the highest selling shoe of this year so far. I can go grab a 270 anywhere. Why do I need this service to go grab that shoe? It seems kind of excessive.
So
I misspoke. It's not GS. That's grade school. Sorry, general releases. So apologies there. Go ahead, Robbie.
No, I was about to say you guys are throwing me off for a second because like then you should just call it like eBay ladies if it was grade school. That'd be I think kind of a sick idea. Again, it's not free.
Yo, I was like, you better coin that right now.
Not free. Edit that out. But I mean, GRs. What I think is interesting about it is that places like Amazon no longer are allowed to carry Nike because of the amount of even fake GRs on there. So with that relationship no longer around, I'm thinking maybe this is a counteract to that, but from a weird angle because Nike stopped doing the eBay business to, they had the whole initiative for direct. They want to sell you shoes directly. But on top of that, their products like the sanctity of their product was being challenged with all these fake Nikes being sold on Amazon. So now like eBay is like filling that place. I just don't get why a partnership, how you have a partnership with not even just like a sneaker platform, like news platform, but with anybody really. Cause in my mind, I'm the eBay partner. I sell stuff there all the time. Mm-hmm. Shoeseum is the eBay partner. Like there's average Joes across the world who use eBay to sell their old shoes or new shoes or use it as like their fundamental business. There's somebody asked in the Discord, I'm going on a tirade. I'm going to try to wrap it up here. People do sell like GR Nikes that they get from the outlet or they get from really anywhere they can get a discount code on. And then they sell it for full price retail to people not understanding you could probably get that Air Max 90 on sale somewhere. So like that is a business. So eBay cornering that more makes sense, but I just don't get how having another formal party involved does anything other than just give us 10 minutes of talking time about being confused.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll gladly take that 10 minutes if we have an episode where we're kind of struggling for news. But yeah, I just as a quick experiment, I literally went to eBay as you guys were chatting and typed in Nice Kicks. And I really don't see any sort of difference on it other than the fact that there was a Adidas Nice Kicks Ultra Boost. But there's nothing else that indicates any sort of brand that's not Nice Kicks affiliated. So I don't know. It's a very weird story. But you were saying, Mike.
Yeah, no, the only partnership I really see that makes sense with eBay was a SneakerCon who's doing the authenticating. Like, that's it. I don't understand, like, they're kind of, I don't want to say silent partner, but they're kind of doing the logistics behind the scenes, making sure the shoes are right. Unless Nice Kicks is doing the same thing, or maybe they're having, like, eBay hubs in their stores somewhere where you can ship items off directly from their stores. Again, that's not a free idea. I want my money if you guys decide to do that. But that's the only thing I can see. Like, hey, I'm going to Nice Kicks in Austin. When I make a trip out there, I'm going to drop these pairs off that I sold. or I can drop them off directly there and they'll consign it. Whatever it may be, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. But again, it's not about the partnership that we're having the issue with. It's the fact that no one told us what was happening. It was literally like someone just said, hey, words, and then walked away, and we're supposed to like come back with something.
So that's a good idea. Shop Nice Kicks is owned by Shoe Palace and has nothing to do with Nice Kicks, the website.
Correct.
But if they have like, some kind of direct place where they're stockpiling these, I don't get it. Let's pivot off of it. It doesn't make sense. To the next thing that doesn't make sense to me, I'm not going to lie. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Hey.
And Space Jam's out here making dollars. Maybe, like, how do you make dollars in this digital age when movie theaters are just opening up? I don't know, but it didn't make sense to me. I don't get the movie. I like the old Space Jam. I'm not going to be a grumpy person and say this isn't the original one, because we all know I like LeBron more than MJ anyway. But just as a 31-year-old guy with no kids who likes shoes, I get all the product placement I need in my everyday life. So what did you two gentlemen, one about to be a father and one current father, what did you two think of Space Jam Dose, A New Legacy?
So, yeah, I think we definitely – I like the way you put that, because I think we're going to have two different perspectives on it because of that. Because my son, me and my wife introduced him to the first Space Jam about a month before this movie came out. He'd been watching it nonstop. Then he was like, oh, when's the new one come out? All right, great. 16th, we're playing our butts in the living room watching it on HBO Max. He loved it. We have watched it, I think, 3 times since. For me, I look at it just a kid's movie that has been maybe extremely commercialized, because we know that even though we didn't notice it then as a kid, Space Jam 1 was a Nike product placement. But 20 years, 25 years later, they taken it to the next level. You can clearly tell, which I know I'll let Roy get into here in a moment, but I didn't expect it to be like some groundbreaking movie. I didn't expect it to, this is going to be better than the first one. Because to be honest with you, if we're talking about movies, both movies are actually awful. Now, I like them for what they are. Like, I like Michael Jordan, and I'm in the Robbie boat of LeBron's my favorite over the two. But I know what it is already. It's Looney Tunes and basketball. What do you want from these people? They're going to show you some new Nikes. They're going to make a couple like corny jokes, a couple of jokes over kids' heads. It's exactly the formula we got. I will say it was a bit too long. 2 hours is a bit long when the first one was like an hour and 20 minutes. But other than that, I was cool on it. I don't – people who are spending so much time on like social media hating the movie, they're just trying to find ways to have the LeBron Jordan argument. That's cool. It's a movie. It has no bearing on anything. They both made tons of money off of it. We all lose because we sat there and watched it. We gave them money, so whatever.
No, as somebody that tweeted out, I am pro LeBron as well, like my 2 podcast mates here. I thought this was as crushing of a blow to the LeBron over Jordan camp's legacy, but I kind of also said that tongue-in-cheek, just because to Mike's point and Robbie's point, it's not worth spilling blood over. What I will say is this movie was an infomercial for HBO Max and Warner Brother properties in a way that was just so overtly in your face that I think that's what soured me on it. There was just a plot point, which was, who's your favorite Looney Tune character? Let's put them in a random Warner Brothers picture or Warner Brothers show, because there's always that montage scene of getting the gang back together. And it's one of those things where, yes, you have to suspend your logical thought process at the door whenever you watch a kid's movie like this. But I also kind of mentioned this to both Mike and Robbie, was we're in the golden age of children's movies. And these children's movies have done a great job of blurring the lines, where something like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is technically the same genre as Space Jam 1 and 2, but it is so far ahead. It is marathons ahead in terms of the quality of the movie, that maybe I do feel a bit strongly on this, because I've seen what the potential is, and nobody was yelling at mid-30-somethings shouting the praises of that Spider-Man movie, because I think it was as universally adored as we've seen. But at the same time, this movie also had some redeeming factors for it. The Damian Lillard interlude was fantastic. I mean, if that isn't a power of what LeBron can do for a potential free agent or a potential teammate, I don't know what else would be. The cameo for a very unexpected but kind of on the nose personality in the middle of the halfway was a stroke of genius, which lets me believe that there was more on the table, because those 2 moments alone were great enough to say that there is foundation there. There is a skeleton there that we can build off of. But I think what kind of ultimately got me a little frustrated with this movie was the fact that they wanted us to have these moments where, like, wow, that's hilarious. But then you have a Training Day reference in the middle of it. Like, what 7-year-old is going to recognize that? And more importantly, what parent is going to tell their kid, oh yeah, that's a Training Day reference. Let's all watch Training Day together. Respect to Denzel.
One crazy part in the crowd, I can ruin this, it is whatever. But in the crowd during the final game, did you notice the It Clown? I was like, bro, y'all trying to destroy children's lives? Like, what is going on here?
It Clown, the Whites from Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. There was
multiple Batman characters.
All the Batman characters as well. I mean, that was the thing where I was kind of amused by it, because when LeBron has a scene where he's literally pulling out a whiteboard, writing out all the people that he would want on his team, he prefaces it by saying, who are the Warner Brother characters that I would want on my team? Yep. That right there was the frustration for me, because if you're making this a brochure, a living, breathing pamphlet of HBO Max or HBO properties, I get that. Money has to be made in spite of itself. But at the same time, one thing that I will say that the Space Jam 1 movie had over this was their tie-ins felt more organic to the story. So there's a scene of them going back to Michael Jordan's house to get the North Carolina shorts. Yeah, I mean, you could probably see a swoosh on those pair of shorts, but at the same time, it felt central to the movie and wasn't necessarily a tag-along scene that's just advocating yet another property that isn't connected to Space Jam in any way, shape, or form, other than the fact that it's a MacGuffin for Porky Pig, let's say. So
like a swoosh-style Wile E. Coyote hole when he hits the ground. That was the only like super cringe part for me. When he hit the ground, it turned into a Nike swoosh. I was like, all right, I get it. He wants to buy stuff. I understand. We didn't have to go that far.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess I'll ask you this question. Robbie, I'd love to get your take. Have you seen the first Creed?
Mm-hmm. Like the original one or the new Creed?
The new Creed, but the very first one. The very first Michael B. Jordan movie.
I know it's a Jordan brand commercial.
Let's call it a visual lookbook. Let's be kind.
But it's not in the nose. No one says the word Jordan, I don't think, at all in a movie.
No, not at all. And that's where I think it's, once again, that coupled with what I think a writer thinks a technical savvy person like LeBron's kid is in this movie, that's where the dialogue was a little off. But like I said, I could pick holes at this, but then at the same time, it's not meant for me. And if Mike tells me his 10-year-old kid loves it, then ultimately it's a win, because that's who this movie's for.
Like the Houston Rockets, most things have been ruined by analytics. And it's like they just know where and when to put. And I mean, to us, astute customers of everything, consumers of everything, like we see Batman, we kind of like, oh God, like they're ready player wanting me super bad right now.
But that was awesome what they did in that movie, because it was like, oh, this makes sense as a game. This one they're just like, hey, we need to sell literally the HBO Max.
So it was literally the plot of the movie too. With this, it's all just like everybody loves Easter egg cultures. Everybody loves trying to find what little things in the background of a Marvel movie, and just like let's just use the analytics and knowing that people like that kind of stuff, and let's just put 4,000 of them in a movie, just so because it's a whole ecosystem. Because now YouTube channels can have 101 things you missed in Space Jam 2, and it just keeps living, and you keep talking about it, and it's all analytics driven. And the original one, there was the Gatorade, there was obviously Nike. There's other ones. I can't even think of them, but there's definitely other products in there smartly placed, much like every 90s movies had some small product placement. Wayne's World makes the joke of all the Pepsis. Garth's wearing all Reebok, and he's just drinking his Pepsi. He's just like, I don't want to sell out, man. And he totally sold out. So now it's just like, it's not LeBron. It's honestly, Hollywood is just so sold out now to where it's against the law to like commercialize and sell things to kids a certain way on TV. So they're like, all right, how do we make up that lost revenue of like brainwashing kids in movies? And it's just like, that's my deep dive about it. But it's just everything is designed to put more sugar into kids. So, sell more condoms to teenagers and fucking sell more fast cars to old, lazy, fat guys. So it's just like everything has a niche. Everybody knows how to approach every single consumer type nowadays in 2020, in the modern era. Let's just say the modern era. Everybody knows how to be approached. And movies like that make it very prevalent.
That unbeatable point was brought to you by Windex. Right? The unbeatable streak your shine. No, I echo what Robbie said, because the bad guy in this movie is Algae Rhythm, which is a pseudonym for an algorithm, which when we view this movie 20, 30 years down the line, we are going to say how very 2020-esque of a movie. Because to Robbie's point, the plugola, payola, the corporate integration was a lot smoother way back then because we didn't know any better. Now we're seeing kind of how the sausage is made, and we're kind of getting disgusted by it. But yeah, I think it was solid. I think, Mike, you've kind of talked me off the ledge. I'd probably give it a 2.5 out of 5, maybe a 3 out of 5 now. But like I said, if your kid likes it and it gets him more into that world of both basketball, sneakers, hell, even more pop culture, then it's kind of protecting that next generation and leading them the right way.
Yeah. I mean, the big win, of course, he is more like nudges a little bit more towards basketball, but the big win was that he will sit and watch like Looney Tune cartoons now as opposed to watching some goofy stuff on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, I will take that win. And like you watch some of the old stuff that I used to watch, because those cartoons now are just few and far between. Like I know it's more because of like the advertisements. We don't have Saturday morning cartoons anymore. I was like, man, they just don't know the feeling. They get all this weird stuff of like a kid, playing with toys all day. I'm like, dude, go play with your own toys. Like, why are you watching him play with his toys?
I will say this, and I'd like to get your take on this, Robbie, as well. There is a Rick and Morty cameo, and that's probably the most PG sequence I've ever seen those characters participate in. And it kind of jolted me in the way that if Cartman somehow made an appearance in this movie and didn't make a point to offend somebody or use a hateful term, I would just be like, wow, what the hell is this? But you know what? Keep getting them checks, Rick and Morty, so I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, me and my wife looked at each other when that happened. We're like, what is Rick and Morty doing here?
Mike, where do you... a writer on Space Jam is a writer... No, that's a different show. Mike, where do you watch your Warner Brothers Looney Tunes at? What service?
Either just normal, cable and Cartoon Network, whenever they decide to come on, or Boomerang, whatever it is. Or the HBO Max, where they have the new Looney Tune cartoon, which is the one that my son's more interested in.
Warner Brothers knows that shit because they're like, all right, people are...
They went full circle. They're like, you're going to watch this and then come back to this and then go back to that. They played the game perfectly.
Numbers are going to go up. I mean, so to end on like the sneaker point of this movie, so like the Space Jams, as we know it, the Jordan 11, the Jordan 9s, black and white, whatever you want to call them. Mm-hmm. Like those were dubbed the Space Jams. Well, the Space Jams were dubbed the Space Jams organically. The Space Jam, was it 2019 or 2018 when they retro last the Jordan 9s? They released alongside the Jordans 11. So I think it was 20.
Yeah, that same year, whatever that was. I think 18.
Yeah.
17 or 18, I can't remember.
No, I think it was 16 actually, because 18 was the Concorde. But yeah, so like 2016, they make the push to tell you that is the Space Jam shoe retroactively. Very differently, everything Space Jam is just everything Space Jam. It's the Space Jam this, it's the Space Jam that, it's the Space Jam this, it's the Space Jam lunchbox. And they've been doing that with since the Smurfs. I mean, it's not like anything new, but it's just like the algorithm or whatever Don Cheadle's name was in the show. It's just like, that's actually probably my favorite part of the movie because, like, okay, isn't it funny how things are self-aware now? Like, they know that they're a piece of shit. It's like, is Charlie Sheen this self-aware about Charlie Sheen as like big businesses or about themselves? Like,
he might be. No, still okay. But to finish off the Space Jam point, I will say, I don't know if Rohit, you did the same thing if you watched it the night it opened, or I guess premiered, whatever you want to call it. I found my dumb behind sitting on sneakers like, are they gonna release this LeBron 19? They got my behind because even my wife was like, ooh, I like those. I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting here on the phone like an idiot trying to see if they're going to do like a shock drop. And nope, but they got people in the app. And if I did it, knowing how much I hate sneakers app, I know people who enjoy it were on there too.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about that because for some reason in my mind, I thought they'd already released and hence they were already sold out. So how can I covet something if it's already sold out?
Same thing.
Yeah. No, but go ahead,
Roy.
No, I was just going to say this. Yeah, the thing that was interesting to me was the fact that the merchandising wasn't as obnoxious as I would think. And granted, maybe I'm not viewing the proper channels. Like maybe if I asked your son, like, hey, how are they marketing Space Jam? Mike, he could tell me, oh yeah, it's on Cartoon Network, it's on Nickelodeon, it's on this, it's on that. But that was something I thought I didn't see that much of. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe they understated it. But then again, I realized I'm not the guy that they want. The algorithm is not meant for me. It's meant for my little nieces and nephews, my cousins, Mike's kid, Robbie's nephew. So yeah.
Oh, it's everywhere. Every cereal that we buy has something Space Jam on it. There was actually a Space Jam cereal that my parents bought my son when we went to visit him last time. He has bought in a Space Jam, like this weird, like Stretch Armstrong type thing, Bugs Bunny. His grandma bought him a Space Jam backpack for school coming up. Oh, no, it's everywhere. Every time I look up, there's like a McDonald's commercial, a toy commercial, fill in the blank. It's something going on with Space Jam. And hey, it actually beat Black Widow in the second week of box office, which says a lot. So
what's funny about it is like, Mike, you're on Sneakers app hoping a pair of 19s drop. Like in a perfect world, there would have been no, you're not an idiot at all. You're definitely not. You've been programmed to know that, oh, Nike might release something. Keyword on might, because like half the time they don't, but half the time they do. So you're interested. In a perfect world, that would have probably released, but with the way supply and demand has been going, more like supply and shipping has been going in the COVID pandemic, it's not easy to get shoes out at the right time and when they need, or when you said they were going to drop. So like, do either one of you have more insight about shoes and production of shoes?
I did, and I will bring it up right now. Because
I'll keep talking.
No, that's fine. I've got it up. Yep, because the headline that Robbie just alluded to is the fact that is Nike really facing a sneaker shortage? And the reason why this is happening is there's an outbreak of COVID-19 in Vietnam that is going to threaten Nike and its competitors' global supply chain, because the fact that this sneaker giant has steadily increased the share of its footwear it manufactures in Vietnam for more than a decade, to the point that half of its shoes come from that country in the last year, based on a regulatory filing. Its next largest sourcing destination, Indonesia, accounts for 24% of its shoes. However, two Nike suppliers operating in Ho Chi Minh City or the neighboring Dong Nai province already had to halt production this year because of the fact that COVID-19 has struck their workers. So far, it seems that factories will only be closed for a few days. However, this situation can escalate. So this is going to be really frustrating, because if we're expecting a lot of these sneakers, I think we're only going to see these delayed. And that's, I think, only going to murder us if resellers somehow get their hands on them, and then we're going to maybe pay even more than usual. What are you thinking on this story, guys?
I think we've already seen it kind of in action. I mean, best current example, I'll give you South Beach 8s. They were supposed to come out, 2 weeks ago? And we got delays. So it's supposed to drop this week, but it's not, I guess, out of the ordinary now for it to be pushed again. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, because now they're just, it used to be like, oh, let's try to like kind of drown it in sneakers where people act like it's not here. Now they're openly just moving stuff where it just doesn't even matter. Like they're like, hey, this is what we're dealing with. It is what it is. I can't tell you how many times I look at stores on Instagram where they're like, oh, I got the GS sizes, but men's sizes maybe shouldn't be far behind, or vice versa. And I know it was a big deal with the Racer Blue 3s. That was a big deal there. That has been a big shipment delay. And I think it was the Columbia 11 lows. I think that was a big delay on one of those sets of sizes, but they just kind of trickled in, where I've heard that I think like Foot Lockers or whoever does the like online raffles through the app, they have gone through, they pick the winners, but then end up canceling them because they didn't get the shoe in. So they have to re-raffle and whatever that nonsense looks like. So it just make it worse. That's all I can say from there.
So 2 questions. I mean, I guess one of them is more of a statement. So I'll start with the question first. Like, where do you think Nike puts its focus in situations like this, because the LeBron South Beach 8 retro can get pushed back, 15 more times, but we keep seeing more official images and Michael Jordan wearing the Travis Scott Fragment Jordan 1s. So like, do you think like, oh fuck, that's a really hot shoe, like we need to have that one out? When it's out, we can push the LeBron, just as an example, the LeBron. Do you think they prioritize website ads, man? I'm just trying to click on this Fragment shoe and then bam, here's the ad.
To answer your question, I think it's the opposite, because there's always going to be the want for that Travis shoe. That's why there's not, as far as I know, there's no release date. There's always going to be a want for that. You can drag that sucker out till Christmas, but there's only a small window of time for these other shoes. And the Miami Night LeBron 8 Low is a prime example. Although it did sell out, there was not much care about it. It was like, oh, okay, cool, it's out. I'll go ahead and do my normal click on sneakers, see if I get it. But it wasn't oh my God, who can I get? I need my plug. I need to get this, that, and the other. I need to get my affairs in order. Like, I'm got to go to war to get this shoe. Those types of shoes, those hyper strikes, whatever we call them now, I don't know what the names of them are anymore. They can be just, they're mystical. They're little unicorns that pop up. You saw Michael Jordan just wearing the thing. It's like, okay, Travis Scott's website opened up to put passwords in. That can mean absolutely nothing. It's like Kanye dropping an album, and you guys knew I did that on purpose because he's supposed to drop one this week. But it just don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't matter as long as that they can keep that same hype energy behind it. Other things, they have to release them on time. So the basic items, they have to come first, I think. Dunks and everything else, hype, they can push around.
That makes the most sense to me, because to your point, the longer we don't see a shoe, for some people, that makes it even more coveted. And that Travis shoe will come out. What's the best case scenario for the Travis shoe? That it turns into the Red October for this generation, and it's just going to show up one random day in October, and people are either going to get it or they're not, and then that's going to add to its legend even more. So I agree with you, Mike. It's just a matter of where do they want to feed the beast first, while at the same time realizing the Zoom GTs of the world are going to be holding on steady, because I think that's also one of those rare shoes where there is a little bit of hype behind it, but then at the end of the day, it's still a general release in a sense, is it not?
Yeah, because there's a life cycle to that shoe where, hey, we got to put out so many of these before we move on to the next basketball shoe. And I think you saw that in full effect with the delays on how things just did not pan out well for Nike basketball. Of course, people are really excited for this shoe, but you got Cosmic Unity, but it got pushed back so far that it bled into the new media stream for the GT line. And now who's talking about the Cosmic Unity? So at that point, they're kind of cannibalized. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, the Cosmic Unity, end of the day, I've been hearing some mixed reviews of how good of a shoe it is. So maybe that's why it's kind of falling out of favor.
Could be.
What's funny, the statement about Travis Scott and like Red October made me laugh super hard on the inside, because like that moment's already happened. It was the first Travis Scott one and the one low maybe, and still that like the Red October, anything Kanye Nike like shits all over any Travis release in terms of like long-term importance, short-term importance. Like, does Robbie care as much? Like, it's always like way higher for the Kanye thing. And it's like, not just Nike, Pharrell will keep doing this too with Adidas. Like, you've already had your like mystical beast. You've already had like your Excalibur created. You've already had your Mjolnir created. Like, fuck, like, what do you want? I mean, it's like the only way they could keep the Travis like juggernaut thing going at full truck is to have, Fragment attached to it also, which if you haven't noticed, Fragment releases in general with Nike are kind of like becoming less and less important. Like,
but did Travis make Fragment important again? That's the argument I've been hearing. It's really hard for me to say no, though, because that dunk is, I mean, I hate looking at resale as a barometer because it's not fair. But if I could get a Fragment dunk for $100 over retail, which is still too much money, as opposed to it can't recreate the magic it did with the Jordan 1, which every Travis shoe somehow does. I don't understand it. I feel like they're using Travis as a jumping off point for a lot of these other brands, which is blows my mind, honestly.
So I mean, in a sense, I think. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you're just using like the dunk as an example, and that is a good one because like resale wise, that shoe really did kind of dud out, but I don't like to use that as a comparison, but it's the only thing I can measure like hype with. You know what I mean? you can not like using it, but really like what people pay for is a great barometer of how strong a brand is. Like, fuck, if no one's buying Ferrari, like Ferrari's nothing, right? Ferrari's just sitting, it's nothing. So if people aren't buying Fragment Nike, it's nothing. So like, let's just use like, all right, use the Dunk as an example. The Jordan 3 really simmered out super quick. I'm even struggling to think. So there's like an Air Max 1. I'm even like struggling to think of like, I'm not a huge Fragment. I'm not going to front like I give a crap about Fragment all that much, but it's like,
we got Air Trainer 1s, you got the Costins, you got a few of them that are just kind of
so
very
they're
attainable.
out there, but it's just like, you have to try to like start like mixing powers now. Like you're at Cold Stone, you're mixing the cookie dough with the ice cream. You're like, all right, these two things both kind of suck together. I mean, separately, we got to put this together, make it taste better. Put some cake batter ice cream in there too, and some sprinkles, and like together it'll be better. Just go find something new. Go find the next rapper. It's not just Nike. It's literally every single brand in footwear. It's every single movie. Like just wrapping my brain around the fact that we have Kane the Conqueror and the fact that like the Infinity Saga didn't just end and all of it end. That we get like a 15-year break and a reboot like we're like accustomed to. But no, they're just going. Just like,
forward.
Whoa, we're going. And it's like every single brand and and pretty much if you feel like you're an institution in whatever field you are, if it works, you just keep doing it. And it's like if Lamborghini didn't do the Urus, like they'd be fucking dead right now. If they didn't decide finally we're gonna do an SUV a couple of years ago, where would Lamborghini be right now, Rohit? Like
nowhere. But the funny thing is, Lamborghini's sold out for the next year in terms of the production. I just read that fact. I'm trying to confirm that just to make sure.
It's probably because of that damn SUV, though.
I think it's kind of sick. I wouldn't buy it, but it's sick on like it's seen on the street.
I would buy it.
Oh yeah,
and I've been ridiculed for wanting it, but it's a badass looking car.
It's a Batmobile, but on 4x4. That's pretty dope. I mean,
if I had $300,000 laying around, I would definitely buy it.
That is true. It's on the back of my Gucci couch. That's right. Gucci doesn't even make couches; just made it for your boy.
For me,
Lamborghini apparently just had their best 6 months span ever, with sales up 37% compared to this period last year. So maybe people want that Lambo. I was just going to say this. I guess Travis Scott is the spokesman that Nike couldn't even come up with if they crafted him in a lab, because he has no aspirations in terms of evolution. Yeah.
Travis Scott is literally a shoe. When was the last time you heard Travis Scott say anything that isn't a verse? I'm not kidding. I've never heard Travis Scott speak.
That was the best statement ever. He's literally a shoe.
No. I never heard him speak.
No, I think he's literally a shoe. That's what made me laugh. I was like, Travis Scott's literally a shoe.
I would not call him a sheep. He's definitely not a sheep.
Him as just a shoe. There's probably some kid that has no idea who Travis Scott is, let alone the fact that he's probably the world's most popular rapper right now for a certain demographic. But because he has that hype associated with his shoe, people are going to gravitate towards it. And luckily for the Nikes of the world, he has no higher aspirations other than releasing these Cactus Jack themed apparel and shoes every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But I like your point, Robbie. He is a shoe.
Travis Scott has never freaking spoken. Like, I really have not heard him speak in any kind of interview, and that's nothing. That's not any kind of like backhanded.
No, it's not.
It's nothing. It's literally a fact.
Now I want to go look because I haven't either. So I want to go search on YouTube. And
right.
Find him,
think about it. And like, I know a lot of his songs by heart. I listen to a lot of his music, so it's like shit. I really have never heard him speak, but his shoes are the hottest thing, and it's just like, let it not be the hottest thing. Go find something new. I get he's still La Flame, so you got to keep rocking it, but it's just like, for the same reason why Space Jam, and it's like everything, as we get older, I guess we become more cynical about things. We're about at time, though. So does anybody have any parting thoughts randomly, or any thoughts about, I guess, Travis? I guess let's turn to a full Travis Scott. Whoever wanted the sportswear lifestyle conversations more, here you go.
There you go, man.
This is why I avoid them, because I just get angry. But
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'll tell you this: my eyes light up with dollar signs so I can buy more shoes. I put my name into that little his website to see if I can get a pair, because guess what? I will sell that thing immediately. to buy like 15 other shoes that I want. I don't want the shoe.
Or set money aside for college tuition for
exactly.
your kids, man.
There's like 20 other things I could do with those dollars as opposed to like, oh, look, I have this Jordan 1. It's like, it's cool. I mean, if I got it for retail, I guess it'd be a discussion like, oh, I could wear it once. But I'm like, I can make a quick, $2,000 off of something just for $180 worth of work? Yeah, at least. Like, I may be understating that right now.
Now, I will say this. I was viewing Robbie's story on the Instagram today, and the fact that he was wearing those Bruce Lee Roy's and riding a bike let me realize the most important tenet of being a sneakerhead, which is wear your stuff. Doesn't matter how exclusive it is, doesn't matter how beat up it is, wear your stuff, because if nothing else, hopefully it starts a chain reaction and other people will start realizing, you know what, that guy's wearing that rare pair of sneakers. I have an equally rare pair of sneakers. Let me do my day-to-day on it. And that can only better our love of what we're wearing and, more importantly, the community that we're a part of. So wear your sneakers.
I'll bike in my off-whites. I don't care. They're just shoes, but it's just like, it's wild. I would definitely, if I'm going to enter the Fragment Travis Scott's also, if I hit, I'm keeping them for sure. Like I'm going to wear them, but like,
good.
Because that's like stunning. Like, Mike, you want to buy 15 other shoes. I'd rather have the one shoe than 15. But I'm not going to pay 15. I'm not going to pay 15 pairs of shoe money on one pair though. At least not that. So what are your thoughts? Do you still care about Travis Scott? What are your thoughts? I guess I was on everything. We kind of got long-winded there at the end. I keep saying we like it wasn't just me rambling. So
no, it was both. It was all of us. It was all three of us.
All of us. We all like to do a good bit of a ramble. And if anybody can break down that Nice Kicks eBay partnership for us, we'll give you a pair of sneakers. How about that?
Nice Kicks, just email us so we can understand it better. I'm okay. Like, again, no shots. We just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely ways to have that conversation, and it'll probably make itself more visible as a release comes out. But as always, thank you, listeners, viewers, whatever you want to consider yourself, fine people of Sneaker History Land. Thank you for tuning in today. Make sure you're following at Sneaker History on all major platforms. You can listen to us on like Apple Music. That's a lie. It's Apple Podcasts, like Audible, Spotify,
all the above.
We're on so many places I don't even remember where we all are. But where can they find you two?
You can find me on Instagram at MadWatcher789. Find me in Sneaker History, that place too, and then YouTube at Mike Guillory.
You can find me on Instagram at RohitM13, on Twitter at Roheezy, as a part of the Sneaker History crew, and just out and about Portland. If you see me, holler. Worst case scenario, I might pretend like I don't know you, and then I'll feel embarrassed. Then I'll give you an extra big hug. Protocols and social distancing be damned.
Just bring it in.
Yeah.
Bring it in.